all that, bonjour, salut, and all that carry on. How are we all? How is everybody doing? Sorry, first and foremost, I do apologise that we couldn't get a video out for the Palace game, but restrictions, work, blah, blah, blah. It all happens. Life gets in the way sometimes, and that comes first. That said, I'm glad I didn't. However, this could be a therapy session as well as a match preview. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few choice words. Me and Dan have been quite vocal, especially to each other, and it's going to be interesting. We may see Joey join us a little bit later on, but obviously if he can't, I'm sure he did say he'll be in the comments section anyway. It is Burnley Newcastle this weekend. Funnily enough, I've been working up there for 2 weeks. Had to come back at the weekend. Came back today. I'm not returning tomorrow. No, I think I've pissed off enough Geordies in 2 weeks to not be invited back up. But that said, it's been fun times. It's been fun times, and it's kept the old noggin ticking over as you do. Like I say, people, get your comments in. We'll have a look through them as it goes on. Please smash that like button, subscribe if you're new and you haven't done already. We are going to be bringing you some more content, and I do have a little trick up my sleeve in the next coming months, so stay tuned as well. Scott's in, who says evening all, so evening to your big bad self, Scott. And Geordie Toon for last says, good evening, Dan. I hope you're keeping well. I am, mate. I am. Like I say, I really appreciate you coming in. And like I say, give us your thoughts. Give us a little bit of a comments rundown on Newcastle, and we'll get it up on screen, and obviously we'll talk about it. But yeah, Dan, how are you?
All right, Dan, thanks.
Hey.
All good. Just about calmed down after Wednesday night, but I say just about calmed down. It's still, yeah.
It's one of
them.
There
you go, mate. That's why we're here.
You stay calm while you're not watching it, where you're not talking about it. But then as soon as you start talking about it, every emotion just comes up. It's like when you're rough and you're like, nah, I think once I've spewed up, I'll be all right. I think that's where we're at, to be quite honest.
Yeah, we need this Burnley therapy session, mate. Definitely.
Definitely do. So apologies, by the way. I'm smothered in tonsillitis. It's doing the rounds. I don't know whether that's a northern thing that no matter when someone says, "Oh, I've got a cold," yeah, it's doing rounds. It's like just the casual answer to it. Max in the chat, hope you're well, mate. Says good evening. I just made it back home in time from work. Hope all is well. It's as the old work phrase goes, living the dream, Mac, as we say. Let's start then. Let's start with Wednesday because let's just get out of the way. We didn't review it, we didn't preview it, and we certainly didn't do a watch along for it. I did watch it in a pub. That was interesting. Wearing a Burnley shirt in the middle of Newcastle and full of Sunderland fans because they were playing at the same time. Quite an interesting one, but no, it's two halves, I'd say, but still lots to point fingers. I mean, let's talk about the first half, Dan. Fire away.
I've already discovered that I seem to have a completely different concept of sitting and watching live for 90-odd minutes in front of me a game of football compared to other people because, to be perfectly frank, I don't think the second half was a great deal better than the first half. And I think too many optimistic people are trying to fluff up niceties about just how poor we actually were. And then today I was looking at, as I do, Dan, the stats ready for tonight. And actually, statistically, you sort of look and think we had better possession, we had more shots, pass accuracy was better. And then I sort of sit there thinking, maybe we weren't as bad as I thought we were at the time. But first half, I think first half, I just felt that we started nervous. I think we've got obviously a serious confidence problem. And I don't know how many times we give the ball away. We were getting 3-4 passes together and then passing it to them, basically. We'd put 3 and 4 passes across, and then we'd go for that killer pass that puts us into space. And they'd just snuff it out. They'd just collect it. We'd misplace it. We'd do it short. We'd do it too soft. And unfortunately, of course, now we're 5 games on the trot, and Turf Moor wasn't happy. And so, very quickly, it went very quiet, apart from some moaning and some, come on, what's happening? But, I even turned to my dad, who was with me about 38 minutes, 39 minutes, and said, we're going to give this one away in about the next 5 minutes, Dad. That's what happens. And guess what? We did. So it's almost written, isn't it? It's almost written what's going to happen. We're going to do all right. We're going to maintain. We're going to, it's okay. Come on. We can get 0-0 half time. Bang. 1-0.
Who that scored for Palace? Were it Pedro Neto? Oh no, that was just the exact same goal that we conceded against Chelsea. The last time was at Turf Moor. I just don't get it. Parker keeps coming out with the same stuff, doesn't he? We're analysing things, we're learning from our mistakes, but lightning struck twice.
It was interesting, and I know if Joey was here, we'd have a jolly good argument now.
That's what this channel needs. It needs bulking up.
Come on, Joey. Come and have a row. I was sat there, a few rows back, right behind that goal. And about 2 minutes, 3 minutes leading up to that goal, unless I've seen a completely different game, we without doubt put 6 at the back. We pulled our wingers right back. We brought our fullbacks in, and we played a straight line of 6. It was the only time it happened in the entire first half. So I appreciate Joey saying, well, yeah, we were back defending. No, honestly, get 2 or 3 minutes worth of footage. We put 6 at the back. I don't care what anybody says. He got to 38, 39 minutes, and he signalled, hold on, do not go in 1-0 down. And this has happened for the last 4 games before this, and it just doesn't work. The minute we try and defend either a 0-0 or a lead, or, we pulled back at Brentford 1-1, we went to defend, guess what? Yeah. So, yeah, exactly the same thing. Stupid enough, if you look at the highlights at about 20, 25 minutes, similar thing, ball from the same side came across, and Carl Walker was at that back post, that back left post, and cleared the danger. And this is my point. And under natural defending, we were clearing the back post. It wasn't a problem. But the minute we bring people back and we do this 6 or 5 at the back, we just seem to, well, who's picking up who? Yeah. And that's a tough one, mate, isn't it? Tough one to take.
It is. I get where Joey's coming from when he says you can't blame Anthony for the goal. Or it might have been you who said that you can't blame Anthony for the goal, actually. I mean, to be fair, like you say, the players are coming back. People will, there's arguments for both sides. I think Anthony has become a little bit of a scapegoat, like Matt Lawton did over the last couple of years. As just a bit of a go-to. Yes, he's not had that many great games, and we all know that he deserves to be dropped. It's exactly that. But that's just another reason for the fans to probably get at him. For me, personally, I think this is down to the tactic itself. Possession-based football, people. All I'm going to say is this. When you are a side who has just been promoted from the Championship, yes, you had one of the best defensive records in that Championship season. Potentially, I'm not entirely sure. I've not done the homework. One of the best defensive records ever in Championship history. It's certainly up there. You then are basically resting on those laurels when you get to the Premier League. You are so enthralled with, well, Burnley are defensively strong, which means that if they can sort out their attack, they should be fine in the Premier League. No. This is the same reason, and I'm sorry, I'll bring it up on my phone. There was somebody, Heather, she's called, and she's been on a former podcast. She's been on a podcast that I go on called Absolute Football Podcast, and she's even said during that game This is the third time that Scott Parker has done the same thing in terms of his possession football and expecting different results. Fulham warned us. He was great at getting us promoted. We were like, nah, you've got it wrong. And then when we were up, he blamed everybody else except himself. Starts throwing players under the bus, and in the process, blaming lack of investment. She did go on to say, not sure about Jaden, to be fair. He can be great, but again, would say in the Championship, he honestly tears it up. But and a lovely guy. But we say the same about Scott Parker, don't we? Look, he's a lovely man. He's got a heart of gold. But, what is it about? When you're growing up, that girl you really liked, she didn't want to go with you because you was a nice lad. She wanted the bad boy. Now, I'm not saying in management you need a bad boy, but you need someone who knows when to flick the switch between, I need to play dirty, I need to think backwardsly. Look at Farker. Look at what we've been saying as fans. I'm sorry I'm going on a rant, Dan, but we have said as fans for the last couple of weeks that, it's all right. Leeds, Sunderland, and teams around us, they've not played the Big Six yet. Look at that weekend, that midweek as a whole. We go lose 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Yes, for a little mistake, we come away with a point. Nah. But Leeds, even at 3-1 up against Chelsea, still were going for the kill. They did not sit back on that. We're still looking to kill the game off at every opportunity. Sunderland nearly grabbed a winner against Liverpool in dying minutes. This is what I'm saying. There is teams around, West Ham. Only last night, West Ham grabbing a goal in the 80-something minute against Manchester United. These teams in and around us are getting points. Forest beating Wolves 1-0. While we sit there on a 5-game loss now, and I don't care what the section of our fans say regarding, we backed Vincent Kompany. Yeah, but because it's Scott Parker and it's British name or whatever, and it's not someone with a bit of a higher modern-day Premier League pedigree to you, that it's all of a sudden we shouldn't give him, we should give him the company treatment. We shouldn't grumble. We should just get on with it. If that's the case, I expect him to walk from Burnley at the end of the season and walk into a top tier Bundesliga or La Liga job. It's not going to happen. Possessive football does not work in the Premier League. In fact, no, sorry, let me reword that. It does work because you can pass it to and from and do whatever you like. I could do that down the park with my 8-year-old girl. Doesn't mean I expect her to hit the back of the net that's not there. It's not going to happen. It's so difficult to understand. When do we draw the line down with Parker? Because I can't see it. I just can't see it. We're not a hire and fire club, but fans are starting to turn.
Yeah, what? I mean, I hear you and all of that. I agree with you totally, Dan. We got in the car Wednesday night. We turned, I think it was Radio 5 Live on, and we're driving away from Turf, and they're talking about Leeds, and they're saying something on the lines of, Farker is lucky, he's so happy, he was under pressure, pretty much certain that, if he didn't get this win tonight, he was going to be out, and this, that, and the other. And then they come to Burnley Palace, and there's not one mention, not one, that is our 5th defeat in a row, and that Parker is under pressure. Not one. Because people all think, little old Burnley, they didn't expect anything. They like being in the Championship. Everything's fine. So they're not going to sack him. He's not under pressure because, good old Alan Pace, he won't do that to him, And that probably infuriated me more than the 5th defeat in a row, Because why have we become that? Why am I hearing fans say Burnley fans are entitled? Sorry? Entitled? Sorry, I'm sick and tired of, as a mid-50s supporter since 1973 of Burnley Football Club, people arcing on about, but remember once upon a time we survived in 1987 and we stayed in the league. I don't care.
Orient game. Oh yes, I was there.
I don't care. We were in the Premier League for 6-7 seasons under Dyche. with no investment. Yeah.
Yep.
We showed fight, we showed passion, and we told everybody to basically sod off because we are Burnley and we do belong here and we're going to stay here. You know, and that is what galls me the most, that we seem to sort of almost accept that we're not good enough and that we're just going to put up with Parker till the end. I agree with that, if you don't mind me jumping in on Joey.
Yeah, no.
You know, Parker's post-match interview sounded like he has accepted relegation already.
Yeah, I was going to say
was
there,
the other thing.
Max says there, what do you make of Parker's post-match comments? Because, like I say, it's not just that. He did the interview the day after, didn't he? With fighters, but it may not be enough.
Yeah, yeah, and you get the feeling that almost Pace has said to him, look, don't worry about it. It's okay. You know, this isn't a vote of confidence as such. This is me telling you, Scott, we know. We understand how hard it is. Don't worry. Your job's safe, and we'll put a bit more money in the summer and see, you know, hopefully we can get back up. So, yeah, I agree. I just think it's a sad state of affairs that fans are falling out over it. But, you know, I sort of look back to Deitch when we got relegated, and I think, you know, we put Jackson in charge for a few games and he turned things around. Now is the time to do it, Dan. Not in a month, not in 2 months, not in 3 months. Now is the time to do it. And you know what? If we go down, we go down, because we would have done anyway. But I just, yeah, that's me. That's my rant over as well.
No, I mean, Max says it's ridiculous that there were /his grumblings about Farker being sacked. I totally agree. This is Leeds fans again. I mean, there's always a section of fans in every fan base that think, well, we're Leeds, we're a massive club. We're this. We are above the levels of Daniel Farker. Let's not forget. You had Marco Bielsa in. Yes, he had, you know, credentials behind him. After that, what did you go to? Jesse Marsh. And then after him, because it didn't work out, you relied on Big Sam trying to bail you out the ship. Is that a big club mentality? Not in my look. You're still on par. You've just been promoted. Do not forget where you come from. History is one thing. Writing new chapters is the next. That's what you need to be doing. It's a results game business. If possessive football isn't working, fucking change it. If that player's playing out of form, change it. Like I say, that Palace game for me was just half time. Oh, camera's showing Jadon Anthony. I'm thinking, oh, he's walking off. Then it showed Brun Larson. I thought, oh, maybe this is the change. And then it came up, no, Brun Larson for Chowner. And I was like, sorry. I just didn't. You know, it. Like I say, sometimes it's not even so much the actual play. It's decision making. That I'll give him his credit. Right, the second half, he tried to go for it, but he tried to go for it with the same mentality of like, yeah, let's just pass it around and try and carve them open. You know, some of the substitutions worked. Brun Larson, I thought, showed some fight. Brozier did more than one run. It's you know, we showed a little bit of something. It's really, really difficult, and I don't want to spend all of this. Well, we spent 20 minutes talking about Palace and Burnley and how sharp we've been, and how probably sharp we're going to be this weekend. And I know it seems silly that you're coming on and you're meant to be G'ing fans up and stuff, but this is why we do this. We're here because we want fans' perspective. We want you to get your comments in the chat. Tell us if we're wrong. Tell us your opinion. Tell us that. We want that. That's what we want. You need back and forth and you need clarity. That's why I said, you know, in terms of on the tweet, that, you know, your Mormon beliefs don't believe in gambling. Business perspective, you went for the highest offer. So you went against what you believe. Now, yes, you believe Parker's a very, very nice person, but you also believe Sean Dyche was a very nice person because about a month before you sacked him, you gave him a 3-year, 2-year contract extension. So I don't know. It's a difficult time of year. Burnley are always shit this time of year. But let's see what Geordie Toon for Life has said regarding Newcastle, because there's a couple of comments coming in. And I'm only saying that because it means I'm going to have to go up and down the comments if I don't read them. So he starts off by saying, in fact, that's Scott. Scott actually says regarding Newcastle, they've really got momentum on their side. Harvey Barnes and Gordon both have probably caused Burnley some real issues. They are an attacking threat. And like I say, with our wing backs practically bombing forward and not bothering to come back, yeah, that is quite a big fear for us, unless we do sit defensive, but we don't want to see that. So he says, Dan, home form is good, only losing to Liverpool and Arsenal, both goals in the last minute. Performances were okay at best, apart from Liverpool. We had no striker for the first 4 games. Drew with Spurs 2-2, dominated the game. But to be fair, I watched that. I don't understand. I've never seen a slower goal hit the back of the net. Like Romero's overhead kick, they usually look good, but that just bobbled and trickled into back at net. It was something else. I'm surprised that nobody got a foot onto that. So yeah, I thought you were robbed out of that game, to be honest, mate. Performances much improved since Livramento and Hall back from injury. I do like that Lewis Hall. I think he will come good, especially he's showing his credentials in a fight for a place in that England squad for the World Cup. Max says it there, daft for us to try and play possession-based footy. Scott says most managers these days sing off the same song sheet. We did put that comment up. Jordy Toon goes on and says, behind the scenes, we're a mess with the Isaac situation, along with our CEO having cancer since retiring with ill health. Sorry to hear that. Didn't even know that. But yeah, nobody, we all know someone affected by that. So yeah. Sporting director left who wasn't liked behind the corridors of power. See, it seems there's a lot of clubs like that. Man United had a lot of that behind closed doors stuff as well. Obviously, Joey was saying evening and was catching up. He says if we get spanked tomorrow, and I fully expect us to get done dry, Parker will be sacked. Jordy Toon carries on and says Voltemada is not a centre forward. We struggled to score goals, getting used to his style of play, even though we've created lots of chances. Scott says when we were talking about our manager options, you can always get Russell Martin. I'll tell you now, no. I would take Daniel Farker. And I think Burnley would actually, there'll be some fans that'll be like, oh, really? But I think this is a guy who needs a club that'll love him because he's gone into Leeds and that's what I didn't like. If Farker doesn't get anything against Chelsea, he's potentially going to get shown the door. You are third from bottom in the league, you big, fat, lily white shower of shite. How the heck do you expect that? I mean, fair play to him for getting that result, but nah. Marty Cifuentes, sorry, Scott, no, he's stuck with you guys at Leicester. Michael Carrick, I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't know. Matt said it's ridiculous that there were / is grumblings that Farker should be sacked. Leeds are another one of those clubs fans think they should be top throw through history. Geordie says we've had injuries like any side, but the new signings took time to settle, except Tao, which is there. It tells me pronunciation. Why don't I read the comment, Ginger Dick, which is pronounced Chow. Chow. He's been excellent all season. Matt says, ain't going to get Champions League footy being a yo-yo club. No, exactly. Alan Pace wants Champions League football. He ain't going to get that at all unless he turns FIFA on. Scott says, just think lads could be worse. Could be like Luton and possibly Leicester back-to-back relegations. I mean, we have seen clubs like that. Huddersfield have done it. Blackpool have done it. Luton, recent. Hopefully we don't go down that route because we are, I'd say, we are just a small town, really, punching massively above our weight. Jordy says the biggest change, without doubt, is Livramento and Hall coming back. They're so important to how we both play in attack and defence. Matt says Chowner has been much better than Anthony, in my opinion. He does. It's just I think he needs to just get better with his first touch. But like I said, the lad is 18, still learning, can't grumble. Although he does look 35. I hope the fans are on it tomorrow as I'm going. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it. I don't think you'll need the binoculars. It depends how many drinks you consume. But yeah, you are quite up high. It's like watching Footy Manager when you're up there. Joey says JBL is far better on the left than on the right. Could not agree more, Mr. Slack. Jordy Toon says this is how I think Howe will line up in a 4-3-3. Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow. See, I remembered that from earlier. Burn, Hall, Tonali. If fit, Bruno. I mean, Bruno has done pretty well. I don't understand why he started on the bench the other night. Ramsey, Lewis Marley, Gordon, Voltamada, and Elanga. Max says Stev is going to have to get on Dan Burn tomorrow at set pieces. Yeah, I think that's going to be a heart collaboration that nobody thought they'd see. Max asking if Bruno is suspended. And yes, Joey has mentioned it. The last comment. We're up to date. Joey's mentioned it. What are the views on Hannibal? He's admitted it, Dan. It's out in the open. There was no video evidence. I mean, there may be from club CCTV. No one knows. But he's held his hands up and said, yes, I did do it. 4-game ban and a fine.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't know whether you can defend. Well, I don't care whether he's our player or not. I find it hard to defend a player that does that, and I can understand why it's 4 games. I can understand why the fine's not that hefty, based on the fact that there's no real video evidence. He has admitted it, and it wasn't directly at a person. As far as we understand, it was a gesture, so to speak, to the whole of the Leeds fans. But he's done it again, and just letting himself down, and
liability, mate.
I just don't get it, mate. I just don't get why he can't sort his head out. He's been with us in a calming sort of influence for a while now, and I mean that respectfully to whoever else he's been, but we are a calming influence. We don't have what's his face anymore, Ted McMinn. We don't have Joey, whatever his idiot face is, that's turned into a right muppet, and I loved him. He was an absolute legend.
Oh, Joey Slack.
No, not Joey Slack. The other one.
The other muppet.
who I try and ignore, really, really try and ignore now.
Right, you've confused me now. Are you talking about Joey now or Joey Barr?
Yeah, I'm talking about both Joeys, while he's not here. But you know what I mean? We don't have anybody in the club, anybody in the team that is hot-headed, that is, we just don't. And so I don't understand why you can't get a grip. I don't. There's just no need for it. No need for it. So look, I believe it's 4 games, but for 2 of those, he's already due to be at AFCON. Yeah. Now, as I understand it, he doesn't get suspended from AFCON. That's different. This is a Premier League suspension, not like a worldwide football suspension. So as I understand it, there's a possibility he could go away, could play AFCON, come back and still have 2 games to be suspended for. Because he would have been away for the last 2 of the 4. But I don't know. Don't quote me, boys and girls. That's what I've sort of picked up off the socials a bit. But look, he plays 20 minutes. He does okay. And, that's it. It's not any massive loss, I'm afraid. Could be. He's a brilliant player. I love him when he's on form. But, yeah, there you go.
No, that's true. Obviously, I'm not going to say too.
Sorry, Daniel. That's the one. Scott Blanks. Thanks, Barton. Yeah. Legend, but an absolute muppet. So there you go.
Like I say, I'm not really going to say too much on the Hannibal incident. Not because I don't want to. It's just that I think we could spend too much time talking about it. It's been dealt with. The FA have dealt with it. I won't condone it. I think. I'm with other people. I think spitting is one of those lowest forms of wit. It's disgusting. Like I say, I think there's a few Clarets that have even said, kick him out. It's not right. So, yeah, people will have their views, but we've all had moments of badnesses in life. It's just, when you're in the public eye, it can hinder you for a long period of time. That said, Geordie said when I asked him, while Bruno was on the bench, Bruno was rested as he's played every game. They're away in Germany on Wednesday. Oh, how lovely for you. And then, obviously, the Mackems away on Sunday, the scum, and trying to rest players. So yeah, Newcastle then. Damn, you've dug into a bit of stats. I've only been once, mate. It was New Year's Day. We drew 3 apiece. I think Kevin Long came on as a substitution and then went off injured 3 minutes later or something like that. It was such a strange game. Like I said, New Year's Day on a private coach, beers flowing, dressed in a flat cap and onesie, Spider-Man onesie, by the way. And yeah, the only place I've ever lost my bank card, to be honest. But yeah, give us some stats, mate.
Do you know what? They're not great. Let's yet again. Here we go.
Cheers, Scott.
In the last, what we're looking at, last 15 matches between the two teams, Newcastle have won 8, Burnley have won 2, and we've had 5 draws. We do not like playing away to them at all. And in general, we have one of these weird stats, 0.7 goals scored, and we've conceded an average of 1.7. So, even when we're in form, even when we've gone there, relatively strong, we've never really pulled anything fantastic out. I don't know whether it's the size of the stadium, whether it's, I don't know what it is. It could just be that it's bloody cold and we just don't like it. Because there's not many places much colder than Burnley, and they moan about Burnley. So, but yeah, there's not a lot else to say. They've had some really interesting results. It's nice to have Geordie Toon for life on, but they've had some really interesting results. If you go through October, lost 2-1 to Brighton and Hove Albion at home, lost 2-1 to Fulham away. No, sorry, beat Fulham. But then lost, according to this, if I'm right, they lost 3-1 to West Ham. Where did that one come from? Start of November. They lost 3-1 to Brentford, 9th of November. So, look, Joey's going to need me to be optimistic because he's now excited about the fact that you sleep in that onesie still, which we'll
I wish I still had it, mate. I'm too fucking fat for that. Jesus Christ. Like I say, that's going back... don't know when, 2017, that's about 6-7 years ago.
Quite a way ago, yeah.
A stone a year.
They can ship goals, but we can't particularly score goals. And if we do score goals, we tend to then say, "Ooh, come and have a go." And guess what? People do and beat us. So, yeah, there's not much else to say about the stats. It's going to be a really tough game. Really tough.
I've got to agree with Geordie Turn there. I mean, it is cold, and I was working in a t-shirt and hoodie. I barely had my coat on, because this week up there, it's not actually rained. Like, apart from Monday, they had a bit, but every other day it's actually been all right. That said, it is still cold. That's why my lips have been chapped and I've got tonsillitis. So it's still cold. Still cold, mate. I will. Yeah, it's something else. One morning I got up and there were frost on tracks. So, yeah, you have a point. You do have a point. Max says we'll take a 3-3 tomorrow. Oh, I mean, that'd be something. But it'd just be typical Burnley to be 3-0 up and we can chuck it away. If we're 3-0 down and got back to 3-3, I think on basis of that would be a bit like, okay, fair enough. Where's that come from? But yeah, it doesn't look great on the stats. What are you expecting to see team selection wise? Because are you expecting to see Anthony dropped? Surely you've got to be.
I think without harping on about Scott too much, and having heard and read some of the Fulham fans and Bournemouth fans, we've got a manager that in the last 4 games has selected four different starting 11s and pretty much lined up in 4 different ways. And this is one reason I'm so adamant it's time for him to go, because they talk about the fact that he just loses it. And to me, he's just lost it. I don't think he knows. And anybody can predict tomorrow's. It is tomorrow, isn't it? We are late, Friday night.
Yeah.
Anybody that can predict tomorrow's lineup or how we'll line up, I just, good luck to him. I certainly won't be putting money on anything. I honestly don't know, Dan. I don't think he's going to drop Anthony. But there's some weird dynamics going on. Anybody that watched the Palace game, Anthony did try and stay out wide. And I swear to God, I don't think Hartman passed to him more than once or twice.
No, he didn't.
Every time Hartman got it, he passed it back to Steve.
Yeah.
So there's some really weird dynamics going on. Is that because the team know he's got no confidence, or the team know he's in a bad patch? But it's not a good sign when we don't play up our wings. On the right, Walker and Juna, yeah, fantastic. They've got no problem. So I don't know, mate. I don't know. It'd be interesting, but I've got no clue.
No, I mean, it's the one for me, which I thought was a bit strange, was seeing Ukachukwu on the bench. It was almost like, no, I'm going to take Big Les out to accommodate Jadon Anthony. That I didn't like.
But he took Big Les out 3 games ago for the first time when Anthony was still in. When Anthony was took out in the last game previous, he put Foster on the left. This time, playing Foster up with Fleming in a much more traditional 4-4-2 we started. Les is a funny one. I think I've heard this talked about elsewhere. I think the problem we've got with Ukachukwu is putting him in with Florentino and Cullen. And I think he's a bit like, well, I've got to drop one of the 3 of them to play 4 at the back and incorporate my wingers or whatever. But this is what I mean by losing the plot, because to me, at the moment, stick all 3 in the middle. Stick all 3 in the middle, because they are good, solid players. They're 3 of the best performers we've had this season so far, in my humble opinion. So, yeah, it'd be good to see Ukachukwu in, but what do? Do you drop Anthony? Do you drop Foster, who was in? Do you drop Fleming? Fleming struggled the last couple. He's no service. He's just getting pounded by defenders. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, Dan. Not a clue.
It is. You know what? I dare say, and I'm not saying it because it's this time of year, but I'd go for like a Christmas tree formation. So you got solid back 4, 3 midfield of, like, say, Big Les, Cullen, and Ukachukwu. The 2 in front, I'd go a bit different. I'd either go Fleming and Chowner with Foster up top, or Foster and Chowner with Fleming up top, and see how that works. If they need to, those 2 behind, if we're getting pulled apart out wide, can then also separate. It could then become like a 4-4-2, but an attacking 4-4-2. But if we need to get back, we've got the numbers to get back. So, I mean, tactically, you think, if Scott Parker, if you do end up coming across this, because like I say, you did listen to us about not playing a back 5, so please do. Try it. What have you got to lose, mate? You've lost everything else. Jody says Borough are 4-0 up away at Hull at half time. I hope that's not a sign for us this weekend. I think that's Joey's score prediction. But he's gone 4-5-1. I mean, pardon me, who knows? Max says first few games, Anthony seemed to be our main outlet and got us up the pitch, but now he's been poor, and not sure why the massive drop off. I don't. And Joey's given his selection. Gone Dubravka, Walker, Stev, Ekdal, Hartman, Florentino, Cullen, Edwards, Ugachukwu, JBL, and Fleming for his 4-5-1.
My only concern with that, Mr. Slack, is the Messiah Marcus Edwards came on, had a bit of a flurry, did a couple of nice things, and then literally just ran into cul-de-sacs for the rest of the game. He was slow, he was lightweight, and he ran around in circles a lot. He got the ball, turned around, lost the ball, got the ball, ran to two players. Why run into two players? He ain't going to get through them. So I don't know. But having said that, I do like Edwards. I do think he has promise. And the poor bloke's had no game time. So you can't really, I wouldn't be upset if we went 4-5-1. That's what I was sort of thinking, 4-5-1. And like you say, that can turn into almost a 6-3-1 when Parker wants to. I mean, but I sort of like what Farker said about scum against Chelsea. You go against these teams. We're coming up against Newcastle. Newcastle want us to go out and do what we've done in the last 5 games. So can we maybe go out and just go at them? Let's really surprise people. Let's do something mad. And do you know what? If I lose 6-0, but we've tried and we've put some effort in, we've been passionate, and to be fair, that's the other thing. Just quickly, Dan. The other thing that's been winding me up the most is we played Brentford, and Brentford were poor. Let's they were shit.
Yeah,
and then we played Palace, who are meant to be FA Cup winners in line for Champions League places or whatever. You are having a laugh. They were abysmal, and in a way, that's what's more upsetting. So, do you know what? Newcastle, Geordie Toon for life, murder us, but at least murder us with some class. Don't be rubbish, because there's nothing worse than getting beat by crap, because it means you're even more crap. And yeah, there you go. Another rant over, Dan.
Hey, rant away. That's what this is here for. That's what this is here for people to voice their opinions, and that's why people do this. Geordie says Newcastle would much prefer Burnley having a go rather than sit deep. The thing is, we don't know what we're going to get. We try to get forward, and then we end up passing it back. And this low block, I don't even know whether that still exists at Burnley Football Club anymore. It's a low block. It's a low blow because we get beat every week. That's all it is. I'm just deflated, so downbeat with the way that we started a season so well with so much optimism, and all it's taken is a few defeats. Like, do I mentally still believe we can stay up? Do I want to believe we can still stay up? Yes. Do I think the way we are going about it right now is going to get us that? Absolutely not. So then something's got to change. But that's for the powers that be. That's not us. We can sit here as fans. I'm not saying we're at a point of losing to Scunthorpe under Brian Laws and standing outside the Bob Lord shouting, get him out, blah, 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 like we were a few years back. But no, it's something's got to change. And a new manager would love to come in with a January window.
I mean, that's the other thing. We don't know what's really happened in the background, but one of the board of directors has resigned and left. And then we've got this guy that's invested, one report I saw, invested 200 million.
Yeah.
Although I think that wasn't necessarily directly into us, Dan. Could be wrong. I think it was more to sort of the arm that have bought Espanyol as well. So
yeah, could be.
Goodness knows where, maybe it's half and half, maybe it's more for them. I don't know. But if Pace, and I do believe Pace when he talks, so if what Pace has said is true, Pace does not want to go down.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to accept that we're just going to yo-yo again. Pace has made that clear that we cannot keep risking going down, coming up, going down, coming up. So, what's he going to do? He's either going to sack Parker, and we're gonna see what happens, or he's going to keep Parker, but he's going to have to spend some serious money in January. My issue being that I don't think it's the players. I think our squad could actually stay up.